Tranzeet Sports TV back again. Welcome back. Welcome back to the studio. It was a big day of football, massive day of football. AFCON 2026 that served us so many good games. Top-notch football in Africa, and today was no different from it. And Nigeria beat Algeria 2-0, and Egypt edged out Cote d'Ivoire 3-2. And yesterday we also saw Senegal beat Mali 1-0, and Cameroon lost 2-0 to the host Morocco. Yeah, before I go into Super Eagles, which we're going to discuss in this video, let's talk about the AFCON in general. And please don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so. Hit the like button, and please, I really want to know what you think about this AFCON, about this game and this video in the comment section. Please don't forget to do so. Do it right quick. Subscribe and like, and enjoy this one. First of all, the standard of football in this AFCON is, I cannot remember when in my lifetime when we have had this level. In the past, maybe decades ago, when maybe most of us think the African football had the finest of talents, it used to be a handful of teams, maybe 4 or 5 traditional teams. Once in a while, you have a dark horse coming to the race. But for the most times during the group stages, you really don't want to watch them until it gets to the knockout stage. But this year, right from the first game, it has been quality football. In the past as well, we used to have stories of maybe abroad-based players in Europe, EPL, and all that come to AFCON, and they fail. They don't really replicate what they used to do in their clubs in Europe. But this time around, I can't really think about any known star in Europe, especially EPL, that came for this AFCON and that has not delivered, that has not played well, whether they are still in the tournament or not. They've all been committed. They've all played the kind of football we see them play week in, week out for their clubs in Europe. So big up all the African players that came from Europe to play in the tournament this year. They have come with their full commitment, and you can see that it meant a lot for all of them. So kudos, to big up yourselves, all African players based in Europe that in AFCON this year. And I believe one of the reasons this has happened is because of the atmosphere for the weather in Morocco right now. It's close to what you have in Europe, so maybe made it a little bit easier for them. But again, quality is not what weather produces. The quality and the commitment also has been there. Then going to Nigeria, big up the coach first of all, because if he doesn't do well, the team doesn't play well, he's always the one to blame. When he was appointed, to be honest, I was one of the ones that, why are we going to hire a coach from another African country? Then I watched a couple of games under him. I said, oh no, he has something to offer. Though there is work to be done, but I could see some of the things that have been lacking in our game as a national team. And eventually decided to evolve. Obviously, we already messed up in the qualifier before he came in, so it was difficult for him to navigate out those qualifiers to make it to the World Cup. But when I watched Nigeria play against Benin Republic, Gabon, in the quarterfinals or semifinals of the qualifier playoff in Africa, I said, no, this guy knows what he deserves some time. The first game came, and people were making noise. I said, no, this team is going to go all the way to the final. They've not done it yet, but they are showing signs. Semifinals is the big one, massive one against the host. You know what that's going to be. It's going to be a massive game for Super Eagles, you know. So having said that, I'm going to give the coach kudos, because what we are seeing in these Super Eagles is by miles better than what we have seen with Super Eagles in so many years. And you're going to talk about line-breaking passes. First of all, start with the commitment. We hardly see this level of commitment in Super Eagles players, especially the ones that come from Europe. Starting for the commitment. Then the pressing, the high press. And it's not just press up front, all over the pitch. Today, they gave Algeria no breathing space. Then their technical ability as well, This is what Nigerian football has represented from the days that we know them. Because now you're not going to say this is a standout technical player. Even our right backs and left back, full backs are technically gifted. The wingers are doing their bit. In the attacking front, you also have that. Then talk about Iwobi in the midfield. Haruna Lukman has been a magnificent player in this tournament. I'm going to go to Iwobi eventually. So yeah, all round, and again, the way this team plays, they're not playing on the counter like we've known Super Eagles in the past few years recently. Or neither are they careless, go all guns blazing and leave their back open. They have been, even players like Tosin, who people think are not really very good, has, improved as the tournament has gone in. I was a little bit worried about Ndidi and his pace. But as the tournament has progressed, he himself has become a monstrous leader in that team as well in the midfield. I know the groups of people say they have not played big games. I mean, Algeria, if you know the history of West African teams and North African teams, there used to always be a problem for West African teams because of their antics. But today, Nigeria dismantled Algeria like they were not even there. You could see what happened to Cote d'Ivoire against Egypt. That was exactly how Egypt won Cote d'Ivoire today, with those their North American antics. But today, Super Eagles said, not today. So big up these players. And I'm going to say it right now. For me, I know you say as a team, not individual players. As a team, I prefer this team to the 94 team. This team as a team, working together, for me, are better as a team than even 94 team. Though they have not won the tournament yet, I don't know if they're going to win it, but the way they are playing, the togetherness, the collectiveness, and the way they play. 94 team, individually, we are brilliant players. We are legends. And they fought out those trophies. But when you talk about cohesion and play, and team play, I think this team is way better. Then my massive big up goes to Alex Iwobi. The reason why I'm going to say this is because Iwobi, if you remember, a few years ago, the Nigerian fans were on this guy. And I used to wonder, what is it about Iwobi that is their problem? Because I still used to see him as the best player, the jewel in that midfield. The only problem was that the way the midfield was composed, it wasn't complementing him. Now, we have had a coach who has come in, looked at the team, though he had to make adjustments. One of the biggest adjustments that he did in the tournament was to remove Chukwueze. Once Chukwueze left that starting 11, the team had balance. And I remember I said it in my first video, that there were too many attacking players. There was no balance in that midfield. Once he brought Oyeka into that midfield and allowed Haruna Lukman some freedom not to work too defensively and work in that space behind the midfield of any opponent, the whole team balanced out and the opening started to emerge. But Iwobi, his incisive passes, his final passes, in fact, keeping a lot on this channel, we're going to produce, or let me not let the cat out of the bag. So yeah, big up to Iwobi and massive respect for him. The young man has grown. He has taken that midfield by the scruff of the neck and he's holding that midfield, especially from the creative perspective for the team. Onyeka and Didi are doing magnificent job behind him, keeping it tight in the midfield. And Calvin Bassey as well has been a mainstay in our defense. So kudos to Super Eagles. I believe they're going to go to the finals. It's going to be a very difficult game against Morocco. But from what we have seen so far, I believe that the Super Eagles are going to be able to surmount Morocco in that one.